Welcome back. Another week of Coach Speak. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We trust that you did. We were off last week, but we wouldn't miss it this week, man. As the season winds down, we still have some more coaches, some in limbo, some we find out some good news about. That's Ira. There's Corey. I'm Jeff. We're brought to you by Artezia Water, arteziawater.com. More on them in a bit whenever I get to it, Corey. We'll get to them.
Please.
We'll
Remember, I just want you to know, Ira, I want to remind you that Ira is the one that chastised you last week.
Yeah, well, people are tired of it. I get emails all the time.
I feel like at some point you're going to look in the mirror and be like, why do these two guys keep bringing it up?
Nobody wants to talk about Artezia Water more than these two gentlemen. My God.
That's true.
I care about them deeply. They're wonderful sponsors,
I love it.
But we'll get to them.
All right. We'll see. Hey, you know what? We'll see.
Hey, Ben, good to be back with you, buddy. Please tell us that we're going to lead the day with the best news that Coach Speak has heard all year long. And really, rather implausibly, after a 3-9 campaign, I think we didn't expect this, guys.
Well, the vibes are good in Waco, guys. You just got to give it time. He's building things there. He's getting things right. Big news, Dave Aranda, he's back. We got, of course, a great soundbite from Dave, and we've got to start off the show with this. This is after a tough loss to West Virginia. So the Baylor Bears are keeping Coach Speak in line for another year.
The ninth loss of the season for Baylor.
Yeah. They're all tough.
About this season and it not being acceptable, and it's starting with you. With that in mind, why should fans not give up on you?
No, I appreciate that. There is a great group of freshmen and sophomore players, very talented.
Clearly.
And working really hard on retaining them. You know, I just think with the ability and the talent that they have right now, they're being recruited. And so, you know, all of our process has been kind of undertaken the last 2 months, really. And so we're still kind of into that, and I think the connections with them and their coaches and the rest of the team and their connection with me are all going to be a part of it. You know, I just think that nowadays you're going to end up losing guys. Guys are going to move on. I think that's just part of what it is. And so I just think, you know, we've got to build the guys that we really, can see playing here, and the guys that want to be here, and just all the guys that are a right fit. We have to fight really hard to keep them.
Not
and
these
so
slappies that are riding out.
A lot of positive with that. I think the facility that Baylor football is going to move into is just a huge positive. An opportunity to learn and to get detail down better with a walkthrough room and just all of the learning space there and the technology that's going to be in there. Just way cool. And so there is a lot of positive things. I think
cool.
At the very end of tonight,
it's not Waco.
I was speaking with Neil Brown.
It's way
a lot
cool.
of respect for him. And I always have. And he came to me, he goes, "Dave, this sucks for you." You know, I said, "I appreciate that, man." He goes,
I appreciate that.
And it's way cleansing. You're going to come out of this having fun and kicking butt. So I appreciate that. I kind of feel that way too. And so a lot of work to do, though.
My God.
I appreciate that question.
That's enough out of you, Dave.
Yeah. He totally appreciate that question.
Twice.
So Neil Brown just beats him. Wasn't it like a last-second play or so? Was it dramatic?
35-32, yeah.
And he comes up, and they apparently had a guy like wide open, like just a complete bust on defense. Give me free touchdown. And then Neil Brown's like the handshake at the end goes, "Man, this really sucks."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Dave says, "I appreciate that."
I appreciate that, Neil. Appreciate that. You pointing that out. This coaching fraternity we have, I appreciate that.
I just love the idea of it. Walking across to give a man a handshake and a hug like this. Really, this is tough for you. Imagine if Mike Norvell had shaken Billy Napier's hand. Tough night, Billy.
Tough night, Billy. Tough night. I hope you appreciate what I'm about to say. It must suck to coach the team you coach right now. What's crazy about that, though, is the question, if you remember way back when, was what do you tell the fans who are done with you? They don't have belief in you. And then he starts talking about how hard it's going to be to keep their roster intact.
Yeah. Hey, but don't worry, Corey, that facility's pretty nice.
Yeah.
They got a walkthrough room.
we're going to have a great walkthrough room. And
Yeah.
it's like, man, that's going to be there whether you're here or not.
Yeah. It was a weird answer to say, we got a bunch of freshmen and sophomore we like, but they've been being recruited for the last 2 months. We hope we can keep them.
That is exactly what he said. Thank you. That was succinct and solid. We don't need to add to that. That's perfect. Ben, next coach.
Well, real quick, though, I just want to say, shout out to Coach Speak Nation. How many people tweeted at us about Aranda getting his extension? People were fired up.
Yeah, man. People love him.
They love Dave, and they everybody's like, this guarantees season number 2 of Coach Speak.
By the way, I happened to be on the internet when he got his vote of approval to be back. And like within 30 seconds, Ira, to your point, Coach Speak Nation, we were added by about 22 people. In 30 seconds after it happened, they were like, yes, yes.
I was wondering, Pete Thamel and the Newsbreaker people who were tweeting the news, everybody responding to them about Coach Speak. And I'm sure they're like, what the hell is Coach Speak?
No, they'll know soon enough. That's
right.
All right, Ben, what do we got?
Safe to say all of our fans appreciated that move, I would say, guys. What do you think?
Amen.
While we appreciated that, we unfortunately lost a Coach Speak veteran in Jimbo Fisher. His offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, went back to his old stopping grounds at Arkansas. He was on a Razorbacks podcast and had some interesting things to say about his time with Jimbo.
Uh-oh.
Offense that I know. And this past season, I went into A&M and Jimbo wanted to keep his terminology, and I didn't sleep for months. It was hard. It was studying every night, trying to figure this out. Why are we calling it this way? But I have an offense that I'm very familiar with and understand inside and out, and calling it will be much easier and going quicker. And the players are going to have to work hard at understanding it, but we'll have a processed approach to installing it and learning it. And we'll get it installed 3 times. And psychologists say if you learn something 3 times, you better have it. So we'll expect them by kickoff to have it down and have it ready to go.
I've heard so many psychologists say that. People are taking shots at Jimbo for that whole thing on Twitter and social media. Because why did he make this guy? Why did he make Petrino learn his system? But it made more sense, actually. This is the one time I'm going to defend Jimbo.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for him to have to learn Jimbo's offense than it does for the whole team to learn Bobby Petrino's, especially when that whole setup was only going to be in effect for about 3 months.
Yeah, it's like Petrino was staying up for 3 nights to learn or 3 months not being able to sleep. Well, that's better than the whole offense not being able to sleep. You learn it.
But how about this, guys? This speaks to the larger problem with Jimbo in general. You didn't have the damn conversation?
Right.
What do we – it sounds like Bobby was caught off guard. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He hired him and then goes, oh, and by the way, here's my playbook that you're going to learn and you're going to have to install. And and in fact, this is the order I like to call the plays.
Yeah.
So going back to, I think, maybe the first episode of Coach Speak, it might have been where we talked about this relationship. And Jeff, you seemed a little dubious about whether or not it was actually going to be Petrino's offense.
No, it's my favorite part because Jimbo won't do that. But and when Jimbo's asked about it in the very first press conference after announcing that they were going to hire Bobby Petrino, he's like, guys, it really doesn't. Who calls the plays doesn't matter.
Yeah, but plays are plays. Football plays are football plays. It's all right, Jimbo.
Okay, man, why'd you hire him then? What are you doing? That's too good. All right, Ben, let's keep it rolling.
Jimbo Fisher's replacement at Texas A&M is Mike Elko. I don't have any of his quotes, but I do have this weird moment from the cult that is Texas A&M. I just wanted to get your all's reaction to this.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
That's the reporters, right? Or those are the reporters sitting in front of the podium, right? That's Gig 'em Nation and 247.
Yeah.
I know. It's like a scene out of It's a Wonderful Life or something. If there was a football version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Except it would be called It's a Horrible Life Run. You're in College Station with this football program, and you barely see them, but there is one of the male Yale leaders,
Oh, yeah.
cheerleaders, right in front of the podium, leading the crew.
No, there's actually 2 or 3 of them. If you could show it again, Ben, because you get to see them pointing their air pistols up.
Oh, they're doing their air pistols.
Yeah,
it's incredible. The whole thing. Here you see them down in the front shooting their.
yeah, there
there
he
it is.
goes.
They got their fake pistols. Yeah, they are.
That's
They're
the word.
taking everybody out.
Look, everybody sways. People swag surf. I get it. Honestly, when you zoom in on, when you just hone in on those 2 cheerleader guys or the 3, that's the creepiest part of the whole deal. Because it just, what's going on? What's going on with that? That's the creepiest part of all of it.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's out of like some bizarro Disney World football edition.
It's creepy. It's a cult for real.
It's
and also,
Children of the Corn.
I wonder how many times somebody's been in one of those press conferences, because I hire coaches every few years. And I wonder how many times they were there, and at some point somebody had that eureka moment that they had been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like sometimes people are, they're swept away with the charisma of a cult leader.
Like Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And then one of them wakes up and like 7 years in, it's like, holy hell, this is nuts.
Yeah.
These people are crazy. The aliens aren't coming to get us.
Leah Remini finally figured it out with Scientology.
I wonder how many times somebody was sitting here going like this, and they were like, "What are we doing?"
It could be like a horror movie where they hire a coach, and then you see the fear in his eyes. They're not going to let him leave town now.
Yeah, you're in for the long haul, although that's never the case in College Station. And I don't want to go back and do it again, Ben, but I would tell the people that are watching this, rewind like a minute, watch it again, because I don't want to point out family members that are not public figures, but I guess I will. Watch Elko's family. I mean, you just feel awful for those people.
And they look absolutely mortified.
Of course they do.
And they're trying to mouth the words, like, because who would know that song, whatever that song?
Nobody.
The cheerleaders do.
Yeah, it's like in the movie Get Out. They're all very nervous. They're scared. They're looking around like, what is going on here on these grounds? What is happening? Why do these people have a faraway look in their eyes?
But also, like, when Pete Carroll got hired by the Seahawks, did he have to go be a part of the 12th man in the Legion of Boom? Like, why did these colleges, especially that one, make the coaches have to sway to a dance they'll never do? Norvell didn't have to ride out on Renegade and plant a spear at midfield after his press conference. Why is Mike Elko and Jimbo Fisher, for that matter, swaying like idiots?
You know what?
He did it. Held up a boot.
In Gainesville, they should make them wrestle an alligator, and if they don't win, they don't get the job.
They're dead if you don't win.
If they don't win, they're dead. Yeah, so
they're dead if they don't win that fight. Yeah, let's do that.
So it'd be like, who would even beat Joe Rogan? Like, who wrestles alligators?
Yeah, like, what are we doing here? Short-lived tenure.
I think a couple of our Coach Speak guys have been hanging out. Well, I don't think we've had Matt Rhule on here yet, Nebraska head coach, but it seems like he's been hanging out with PJ Fleck. He was asked about his emotions after senior day, a tough loss to Iowa. And
please don't bring up cancer.
Comparison.
Please don't bring up
man.
cancer.
And Matt, you've been there 1 year. You don't even know these kids.
When you saw that interception tonight.
It's a cool jacket.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let the players talk about it. I just, like I said, I'm so confident in what we're doing and feel so great about the things that are happening and so excited to see where this thing's going to end up. I just feel crushed for those guys. As I told them, sometimes the first people to do things don't get to see the results. The first people to storm the beach at Normandy, the first explorers, you don't always get to see the end result, but I really can't say enough about these guys. I remember I can sit back to sitting there with Luke Reimer, Nick Heinrich, just sitting there saying,
cut it.
Yeah,
What in the hell?
I want to see where he's going.
There's nowhere to go. You can't undo that. You can't.
I want to see maybe he made another reference. He could have gone worse.
Bell?
The sailors on the USS Arizona. They didn't know that 4 years later Japan would surrender. They probably rest easy now. I can't imagine.
Should we come back? What's it going to be like, Coach? Will you give us a chance? You have this reputation of playing young players, and so I told them, just for Julie and me, and Vivian, Leon, and Bryant, what an amazing year of just getting to know these guys. And so I felt crushed for them, but at the same time, expecting us to stop them, thinking, hey, they can't make a 35-yarder, we'll block it all the way to the very end. to see them block it. And, that's 3 walk-off field goals, to lose the year. That's tough. But they'll wake up tomorrow. We'll come in on Monday. We'll start working.
But
We'll
those
help the
guys
seniors
who
as they
stormed the
move on to the
beach,
next phase of their life. And we'll get back to work. Too often people complain and whine and talk and all those things. We're going to work, and I think we got the young players to do it. So we'll be back.
So
you think in the back of his mind he knew he just had to keep talking?
I'm not sure. Here's the thing, that we've always operated under the assumption that maybe Matt Rhule was great and Aranda lived off of Matt Rhule's players and program when he won National Coach of the Year, with the COVID year or whatever. But Matt Rhule sucked with the Panthers.
Yes.
And he might be sucking here. So maybe he sucks too. Like, I'm trying to figure out.
He won at Baylor. Look, he won at Baylor, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't even have a walkthrough room when he was winning at Baylor. I just want to point that out. They didn't have the facilities. So just realize that, Ira, as you're talking about Matt Rhule.
Right.
But, he might. But also, like, I don't know.
Some common sense about you.
Yeah. Like, that's the first thing you think of, because I get the idea of, okay, we might be 10-2 2 years from now, and these guys that were there at the beginning, they don't get the love that we all get it, but those guys will still be living their lives as 24-year-olds. Somewhere, some of them might be playing professional football. They might be married. Like, it's just it's an odd comparison to make to the guys that just ran up to essentially machine gun nests and got mowed down.
Generally speaking, you shouldn't compare your quest to win a football game to those that sacrificed their lives on Omaha Beach. Just probably not a good idea in general, and it should occur to you before you utter it.
At the end of that statement, one of the reporters should have been like, "Do you have any other gems like that?"
Yeah. Any other comparisons you want to throw out there, Hot Shot? I like also with him. I hadn't seen him much this year. The gray hair, Ira, you can speak to this a little bit. Mm-hmm. The gray silver hair, but the jet black goatee. What's going on there?
I wish I could speak to. I need to do that.
By the way, I want to inform you that he is a candidate for the Peninsula or Isthmus that Jimbo Fisher had. That is a thicker set of hair than he had on the sidelines with the Carolina Panthers, my friends.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, he's getting more money probably.
Yeah. This is we've got the weave in full effect going on in Lincoln right now.
But why if you're going to dye, I assume he dyed the goatee. I could be wrong. I guess there's miracles that happen with hair where the top goes gray, but the chin stays black.
His mustache is pretty black.
Not all of it, though. Like, his is jet black. Like, the whole thing is jet black, and his hair is as gray as Iris. Sorry, as silver as Iris.
Well, he likes to think of himself as a freedom fighter, someone who liberates countries, liberates.
Right. Yeah. So, much like our boys in Normandy. You're right. Good point, Ira.
Yeah. That's a toughie, and I just don't know how these coaches always do it. They're stuck on war references all the time, or catastrophes of some sort. It's just nuts. All right, Ben, let's keep it rolling.
Maybe it's just a Big Ten thing, guys. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, they just don't know what they're saying up there.
Something going on up there. Jim Mora, you guys really need to go back and watch this entire press conference. I didn't want to bore you to death, but he was pissed the entire time about NIL at UConn. This is awesome.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Dedicating now to taking care of that problem must take away from what your whole career you've done best, which is coaching.
Well, I'm not a fundraiser. I wasn't hired to be a fundraiser. I've never been a fundraiser. I've never been asked to fundraise. I don't have a degree in fundraising. I'm not a business major. I'm a football coach.
Jim, I remember talking to you in the offseason, looking ahead to this season. You said you fully expected to be a better football team than you were.
I mean, look, just a sec. I have 120 players.
I knew that was coming.
Okay.
He wasn't
basketball
done with that
teams
answer.
in this country have 12 to 15, right? That the time investment in our players is so critical. And, like I said, there's only so many hours in a day, right? Between recruiting, the portal, nurturing your own players. There's just hard, cold realities that people have to face. And the world of college football has changed dramatically. And to win, you have to have people that go out and raise money, and a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. Like, if we want to be a top group of 5 team, it is a fact that we have to have at least $1.5 million in NIL money. At least to compete with who we're competing against. And so
it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, like I said, I don't think people are gonna want to hear that, but I don't really care what they want to hear, because that's the truth. That is just the truth. That's the truth today, and it's unfortunate, and it's not, it's not what anybody wanted college football to be. I don't think, but it is the truth.
Except the guys are gonna.
Okay, I'm sorry I cut you off there.
I know you had expectations to be a better football team this year than last year when you were coming into this season.
I think we are a better football team.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You, despite the bottom line of a record, because there's a lot of variables that go.
Despite the budget and the payroll.
I do, but not good enough. Not good enough. We haven't run the ball like we did last year, and no excuses, but there's reasons. Two of our top running backs decided that they wanted to go in the portal, and they thought that they could go, find a better situation and make money elsewhere. So that hurt us. We had a young quarterback, not a young quarterback, an inexperienced in Taekwon who's really grown. So there's been improvement there, but we haven't been able to be balanced enough. We sustained some injuries on defense. I think in the secondary, guys playing hurt that have hurt us. But we're a better football team with the worst record, and that's extremely frustrating. Because you see where the world is going, and we play, like I said, go look at the top group of 5 teams in the country and look at their schedule and compare it to our schedule. So if we're going to play those teams and people want us to beat Duke and North Carolina State and Syracuse and Maryland next year and Wake Forest next year, then there needs to be a commitment monetarily to helping us get the players that can beat them. Because if you're not going to help us get the players to beat them, then you are not entitled to bitch when we don't beat them.
All right, there we go. There was the payoff.
There it is. I was wondering where he was going to go with that at the end.
So I mean, who are these UConn fans he thinks are writing these checks?
They're on his ass, Ira.
Yeah, man.
They're on his ass.
Down the street stores.
The man is breaking under the pressure of these fans, demanding answers every Saturday.
He thought it was tough being an NFL coach. Now he's at UConn. Are you kidding me? He's never felt a pressure vice like that.
I was waiting for him to say, freaking Gino Auriemma's got $5 million in it.
Yeah. Paige Beckers makes more than my entire team.
Dude, I love the moments when we watch on Coach Speak when the guy moves on, but he hasn't moved on.
You could tell he was coming back. He's like, I'm not done answering that question.
Yeah, and he was pissing him off the more he thought about it, and he was not listening to whatever that guy was prattling on about.
and then when he was done, that guy asked the exact same question again, which I find. But then he came back to the NIL again.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what he asked him.
Well, and also, does he think that, that UConn fans give a crap about football? Enough to, you got to pony up.
Corey, have you been on their message boards?
Well, you're right. I have not as much because it's so vile. I mean, they just get after it.
It's a cesspool.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They're all angry, and they blame him, and he's letting them know, I don't have the money.
I don't have the money.
I can't get the kids in here. Pony up.
I feel like he's got some. I feel like he's got some paychecks left over from the Falcons.
Yeah,
he could pony up a little bit.
All right, Ben, what do we got?
We had another Coach Speak legend that went down, Dana Holgerson at Houston after a 4-8 season, which makes this opening statement even more hilarious.
Seniors in the locker room are kind of sad right now. I mean, it's over for them.
Hey, stop for a second. Yeah. He starts off by saying the players in the locker room are kind of sad right now, and then laughs.
And then laughs, yeah. These kids don't know any better. They're still upset when they lose football games. Idiots.
I mean, they should have been with me when I stormed Normandy.
Yeah, no lie. They'd understand.
Anyway, sorry, Ben.
I told them I loved them and appreciate everything that they did for us. It hits you when you walk off that field for the last time. It hits you. Those guys are pretty emotional in there. Really wanted to try to, get a win. Senior night last week, put a lot into it, and that would have been awesome, to knock off Oklahoma State. Didn't get the job done, so this is the real senior day, honestly. This is the last time that they play, so, poured a lot into it. They gave me a lot of effort, and our attitude was good. The game meant something. Been answering questions all week about, does this game mean anything? Yeah, it meant a lot. We were playing for conference standings and all that, Central Florida's a heck of a team, heck of a program. They're going through the same stuff we are. I mean, they're 6-6 and get to go to a bowl game. They got good players. They won a lot of games in this place. So, disappointed how it ended. Disappointed in the losing record. Year one Big 12 knew it was going to be tough, and it was. It's not going to get easier. So, just obviously got a whole lot of work to do. That starts Monday.
No,
not for you. It would not start Monday. Yeah, that's right.
Monday. So, do you think he was coaching for his job? Like, do you think if he won, they would have kept him?
No.
He was done.
I hope not.
I'd heard rumors 2-3 weeks ago he was done, and I think he knew it too. That was weird. That's a weird press conference. Everything about that was strange.
Yeah, well, he's a strange dude.
And I think when we had him on last time, we talked about this. The emotion is just so not there. Like he seems like he's like when you go to the mechanic, and the mechanic's like, "Yeah, I think I can get this done for you for about 180," and then you go back and he's like, I tried to get it done for 180, but it's going to be about 400. I'm sorry about that. I mean, that's how losing football. We wanted to win the game.
Disappointed that we didn't. But life goes on. We get back to work.
I do like that he rubs it into his own fans' wounds there when he says, they won 6 games. They get to go to a bowl game. We don't.
Yeah. And it's going to be harder next year. It's not getting any easier.
Yeah. Hey, if you thought this year's 4-8 campaign sucks,
wait till next year. Although that's not true because they don't have to play Oklahoma or Texas. So I feel like it will get easier for the next Houston head coach.
Really, the downfall of the season was they did get screwed against Texas. My man was 2 yards past the line to gain.
Yeah, unbelievably.
All right, Ben, what do we got?
Hey, we got 2 more guys. We're going to go to Gainesville. Billy Napier. This was a snippet of an answer that he had after he was asked how he deals with losing seasons as a coach.
We're in the process of rebuilding the roster. We're in the process of learning how to make it work at the University of Florida, and we're brought here for a reason. There's no denying that we have work to do, but I think what gives me confidence is what I see from the players, the growth I see, their words, their actions, the way they work, the selflessness, the sacrifice, their investment, and I think everybody likes to use the word buy-in, but I think for me it's more about action. And I think I've seen a ton of action from players. And
like
not
going
just
in the
how
portal.
They compete on game day, but also I'm with them every day. So regardless of what anybody else says, I don't really care, because I know the young men in that locker room, and I've got confidence and belief in that group. So, you fall down, right? I mean, this is much like many of you have fallen down in your career at times. Our young people, they came up short, and they got to get up off the ground and learn and adapt and evolve and grow. And it's hard, but ultimately I think we all can agree that a lot of the growth and improvement that we've been through in life came from some of the tougher times, right? And I think it's important for me to set a good example for them, right? Because I think ultimately that's what our young people need.
I agree with him on something here, guys, really quick. It's about taking action, and you at home can take action by going to arteziawater.com, where you can get yourself the best water anywhere in the state of Florida, Georgia, Alabama. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's the best. I just had a giant glass before we started so I wouldn't start coughing. ArtesiaWater.com. Ira, tell them about how easy it is and the discount they get if they go to ArtesiaWater.com.
Yeah, ArtesiaWater.com is the website, Artesia with a Z. And, yeah, it's fantastic. In fact, I'm a little disappointed right now. As soon as we started taping, and I thought to myself about the fact that I'm not back home here in Charlotte, North Carolina for this football game.
No Artesia for you.
I don't have the Artesia Water set up here. It's a heartbreaker. But if you can get it at your house or your business, if you live in North Florida, basically from Perry to the east, all the way to the end of the Panhandle, to the west, up into South Georgia and South Alabama. And if you mention Coach Speak, whether it's an email or if you go on their website and request a quote, if you mention Coach Speak, they'll give you your first month free, the delivery, the setup, and your water. How's it going over at your place, Corey?
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm in Atlanta right now, but Stephanie was swinging by my house to get something anyway because she's meeting me up here to go to Charlotte. And I asked her if she could just bring a couple of jugs with her. A couple of jugs of Artesia water.
Artesia water, yeah.
And she said no, she's not doing that, but she loves it too. We all love it. They're just maybe a little too heavy for her, I guess.
One thing to note, by the way, besides the love of ArtesiaWater.com. Well, go ahead, Ira. He had jugs. You were going to say something, Ira, before I
was going to say thanks to Trevor and the crew at Artesia.
Yeah, they're awesome. And mine just got refilled. I put a new one on today. Pick that baby up, boom, just like that. Was ready to roll.
Down. I could do it. I did it for the first time because Stephanie had done it the previous time. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Legitimately, anybody can do it.
So, guys, I want to ask you both before we move on from Billy and get to our last clip. I think as a triumvirate here, as a trio, we ought to incorporate this anytime we can. And I want to hear it from you guys at a press conference. I'll try to do it on my show. We can maybe do it on Seminole Headlines together, whatever we want to do here. If for some reason it is pointed out to us that we made a mistake, make sure that you come back guns a-blazing about the loser that asked you that question.
Yeah, remember how many times you've fallen down and you never got back up, Joe. You're still just sitting there in the muck.
He's looking around. He surveyed the room before he said it. He's like, look at you, Humps.
Look at all these slappies. You guys never stood up.
You guys are covering this football program.
Yeah, you're asking me questions.
That was so
what happened?
good,
what went wrong in your life?
He's a step away from being like, look at you, Gus, you fat ass. You know, like, he's that close.
Who are you to criticize me?
I saw you, Gus, I saw you drive up in your Buick Skylark.
Yeah.
It's not where you wanted to be either.
So let's not pretend.
These players actually have a chance to be a winner, Gus.
Yeah.
You're done. You've been a loser for decades.
Yeah, look at you, Gus. Get out of the room. Get out of the room.
Ain't no portal for you, Gus. You can't go anywhere.
I'll see you in the spring. I'll be making millions, Gus. Millions.
One day back about 20 years ago, you were at the Gainesville Sun. Now you're typing on a blog. Nobody sees it, Gus.
Yeah, interviewing Billy Napier.
Yeah. Old Sunbud Billy up here is making more money than you'll ever see. All right, Ben, what do we got?
Hey, well, you guys have been so great supporting Coach Speak that we're going to continue it into basketball season. And this is the perfect segue. Right. Kenny Payne at Louisville. It's been a wild ride.
I don't ever, by the way, I don't ever see any of these clips ahead of time. I have not seen this one, but I saw what he said, and it's insanity. Anyway, go ahead.
Insanity. It's awesome. It made me laugh. It's awful. He just lost his team. It's great.
I only saw it because people were tweeting it.
I probably shouldn't tell you this. We didn't have the tights that he wanted, so he didn't know if he wanted to play. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it. We didn't have the tights that he wanted, that we've never had for him, and he decided, I don't feel like I can go. That's what young people do.
No.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't even know. But he figured it out in the second half. He accepted the fact that we didn't have the tights that we've never had for him, and he played well. Next.
I don't think that's going to go well for him.
Kenny Payne may be a crazy person.
Oh, it looks like it. Because here's the thing, like, Petrino when he had Louisville rolling, or Denny Crum. Just pick a good college head coach.
Denny Crum, nicely done.
Well, I was just thinking of Louisville guys, but any coach, man, literally anyone, they can say that if they've been winning games for like 5 or 6 years because you trust that they have their locker room intact. They have a culture. They have a program to be proud of. That dude won like 5 games last year total at Louisville.
And he then put a bullseye on his player's chest just now.
6 games in, not only does he have a player that doesn't want to play because he doesn't have the tights, he tells the world about it.
And
that's a wrap.
The best part is he tells us not once but twice that he didn't have the tights that we've never had.
Never had the tights.
How does that even make sense? So the kid was finally like, Coach, I've asked you for 7 games.
Yeah.
I'm done. You can't keep telling me next game. I'm done. I'm not playing until I get my tights.
How am I supposed to play in the wrong tights?
It's like Rain Man having to watch Wapner. Like he can't get on the court until he sees Judge Wapner. It's nuts. It's insanity.
But then he lets the guy play in the second half. He's like, yeah, he played pretty good.
He played pretty well.
We won the game.
Even though he didn't have the tights that we've never had for him. Hey, how many years do you guys think Judge Wapner's been dead?
Ooh, I would say I think he probably lived longer than you think. I would say he died in 13.
I'm going to say he's been dead 12 years.
We're going to do
well, there you're right. You Price is right in me there. So I would say, 2010 is where I think he died.
I'm going to do here it is. I found him. He died in 2017, guys.
Oh, man, he made it a good long while. He must have been 90 years old.
He was out living in L.A. when he died at the age of, so he was born in 1919. He died in 2017.
That's a really good run. That's a 98-year run.
That's a 98-year run.
You think he was on the beach at Normandy?
Maybe.
Maybe. Hey, unlike those other guys, he made it to the next. I mean, he could have been because, he probably could have been 22.
I bet he was, Ira. I mean, you think about it, that's the right age. He could have been.
That would have been funny if Matt Rhule and those guys that died on Normandy, they didn't get to see People's Court. They didn't get to see Judge Wapner leave that beach and then become a gazillionaire ruling on somebody not mowing their lawn.
Ben just gave you guys the answers really quick, everybody. I want to make sure we get this out there to you and reiterate. Coach Speak is continuing on. Just because football season ends doesn't mean we're not going to keep this thing rolling. We found a gym here, and we're going to keep it rolling. You guys have been supportive, passing around to everybody else. We want to make sure we make Artezia Water happy. But basketball coaches are crazy. Generally speaking,
literally like Kenny Payne doing that, it looked like he wanted people to commiserate with him or I see it's just hard to coach these kids, man.
These kids are garbage.
And it's like, but maybe at a program where they respect the coach, they would know never to bring up the time. Like he thinks it makes him look good that he's having to coach these kind of guys.
But I have to deal with.
You look at what I have to deal with, and more like it's like you have a kid like that that's willing to not play because he doesn't have his tights, and then you air it out for the world to see. It's unbelievable. I have a feeling he might be our Dave Aranda, but not in a just that he'll be a weekly addition.
Yeah, but he's not going to make it another year like Dave Aranda did.
He will not get the vote of confidence.
He will not get the vote.
Walk through room or not, he's not getting the vote of confidence. He will be done probably sometime in February, I think. I don't think he makes it to March.
Real quick, I want to apologize real quick for the sound quality. I'm up here in Charlotte for the football game. Next week on Coach Speak, we'll all be better. We'll have our better sound. The other thing is, guys, we didn't do it last show, but I think I want to get in the routine of picking our coach of the week. So can we pick coach of the week?
Oh, it's a robust Dave Aranda.
Oh, I was going to say Matt Rhule because that was something we hadn't heard before.
Well, you're right to pick that, but I will. If Dave Aranda makes the show, he wins.
Well, how about we name it the Dave Aranda Coach of the Week Award?
Yeah, there it is.
You can't pick him because he's already in the title.
We did it. We did it. That's what we solved on this edition of Coach Speak. From here on out, when we pick our Coach of the Week, it's the Dave Aranda Coach of the Week. All right?
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
We get a little trophy made.
I love it.
You know,
it's just going to say I appreciate that on the bottom.
Yes. And we could get a bunch made and send it to them every week, and they'll have no idea why they're getting this in the mail.
Yeah, the coach gets it in the mail, and it's just Dave Aranda with his long hands on a dais going, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's perfect. Good job, Ben. Good job, Corey and Ira. I'm Jeff. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk again soon, next week, in fact, on another edition of Coach Speak. ArtesiaWater.com. Check it out. It's worth it, I promise. Peace.